Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I kind of created like a little studio with a little light and everything, so I hope it looks better than before. So I wanted to do an update on sanctions and the general situation in Russia. So let me give you guys a little background on how things are. Even before this whole Ukraine thing, things were very tense. As someone who immigrated to America, and I lived in America for 20 years, and America has its own problems, which I think already talked about and I am going to talk about. But since this video is about, what's going on in Russia, we're going to talk about that. For some reason, and I don't fully understand it because I'm not really part of it, people are very angry. A lot of people are very angry. A lot of people are, very like volatile. And that was present even before this. So when I started my Russian channel, I had like an English channel on YouTube first, and then I started the Russian channel. And when I first started my Russian channel, I was taken aback at the amount of insults I got for no reason. I started complaining, like when I first started my Russian channel, I started complaining about how I wasn't happy in America. You would think people would be supportive. Some were, but I got an insane amount of hate for no reason, just because I was in a vulnerable situation. So this is a bit of a background of the type of, I don't know if it's, 75 years of the Soviet Union, but difficult history. But people are a lot of people are very, very angry on both sides. I'm not talking about Russian side, Ukrainian side, Belarusian side, everywhere. They are like very angry. So basically, this whole thing was not a surprise. Okay, it's been cooking for a long time, and people were looking for like a fight, basically, and they found it. But anyway, let me give you guys an update on sanctions. Basically, I guess to the disappointment of those who enacted sanctions, the sanctions don't really affect that much of my life personally. Like whenever I come out on the street, everything looks the same. But I can tell you that there's been financial repercussions. For example, automobile sales like dropped to the lowest 20 years in Russia. But it's not from the sanctions, right? It's from the fact that automobile dealers in Russia have jacked up the prices, thinking that there's going to be a shortage of cars and thinking that people are going to be rushing to buy cars, therefore jack up the price and make profit. There's a lot of really stupid people who do business in the former Soviet Union, and that's why the Soviet Union was created, because they weren't good. A lot of people were not good at business, and they tried to eliminate all kinds of private enterprise. Kind of like what's going on in California and America right now. Like the thing that are going on in America right now is pure socialism, where they're fighting with entrepreneurs, fighting with people who rent out houses. Same thing. Well, it's here too. So a lot of people are like that. Another thing that happened with real estate, you have to understand that a lot of, for example, Russia mostly builds apartments. There's private houses, but most people live in apartments. Even the people who have a house, they still live mostly in an apartment and have that house for the summer, for like, whatever. It's like a dacha. That's what it's called. So there's a huge industry of building these apartments. Now, some that does not happen in America. In America, nothing ever gets built. That's why there's tons of homeless people. The good thing about Russia is that tons of things get built. But this whole industry was basically, they sell a lot of apartments unfinished. Like 90% of the apartments are sold before they're finished, like 2 or 3 years, and they give you a discount. And I've heard that the same thing is going on in China. Well, guess what? In these economic times, even the stupid people realize that buying an apartment with a 2 to 3 year wait time is not a good idea, because there is a chance it would not get finished or people would steal your money. So those types of sales stop. So people who were employed in the auto dealership, people who were employed in real estate, all those people are losing their jobs. But I wouldn't say there is a panic. There is no panic, right? Like I think a lot of people who like instituted the sanctions, they expected the next 3 days after the sanctions are like instituted, there's going to be like a panic on the street, and people are going to run out and go like, oh my god, we can't take this shit anymore, we cannot take it anymore, we give up, we're gonna leave Ukraine. No, nothing like that is happening. And I can tell you, regarding all that's going on in Ukraine, both sides are very stubborn, and you're not gonna change their mind with sanctions. Does not matter. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of people who one moment. A lot of people who see these sanctions, they in fact interpret it as, stubbornness, that we're going to go against them. Another thing that I see is that these sanctions, they have been hitting those who are instituting them, and especially the European Union. The gas prices have risen up, and a lot of people in the European Union say, oh, we can live with it. We're rich, right? We're Europe, we're Western Europe, we're very rich. We can handle it. I have news for you. It's not that simple of a thing. For example, if you followed the news recently in Kazakhstan, they almost overthrew the government, and the main reason was fuel price increase, if you would notice. So I feel that the economy of the European Union and Europe in general is hurting right now, probably no less than the Russian economy, because the Russian economy produces a lot of basic goods and services that you need to survive difficult times. You have to understand that in times of sanctions, in times of economic need, you don't really need luxuries. You don't need your Gucci handbag. You don't need a Swiss watch. You need bread. You need oil. You need gas. You need meat and all that. And all of that is produced either in Russia or in countries that do not sanction Russia, like, to the east of it. Like Armenia produces a lot of fruits and vegetables, and they're still coming from there. So, in fact, sanctions are not going to accomplish what they're looking to be. And another main problem, again, with sanctions, and I don't think there is any kind of sanction that you can institute that's only going to hit the other side. What else? What else have I seen? Another thing I have seen, and I wouldn't call it the result of sanctions, I would just call it the result of this conflict, is that there's been a lot of crazy laws in Russia, and I think things are getting a little bit out there, and they were out there even before. Meaning, for example, they instituted laws where you cannot call this conflict a war. You cannot call it. You cannot criticize it. You cannot criticize the sanctions. And all those things that I feel are even... It's not just an issue of what's going on there. It's an issue of all of this secondary things that are kind of turning like North Korea-esque type of a thing, But a lot of people are going to say that there is no freedom in Russia. I have to disappoint you. While Russia does not have a freedom to go up with a sign, like let's say if you make a sign and you go up somewhere in a public square and you display that sign, doesn't matter what it says on there, you're going to get arrested. So a lot of people look at that and they go, well, there's no freedom in Russia. I have to disappoint you. Russia has more freedom than America. I'll discuss it in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.